Okay, looking at a problem from the review test. I believe this is problem number 34, I want to say. 35. All right, so problem number 35. Let's read it together. A homeowner wants to increase the size of a rectangular deck that now measures 14 by 22 feet. All right, so you can stop right there. And I'm going to draw a deck, just a representation of 14 by 22 foot deck. All right. The building code allows for a deck to have a maximum area of 800 square feet. So it's not saying that this deck is 800 square feet. The building code, what that means is, according to the city would have a building code. So you can only make a deck a certain size. So this building code allows for a deck to have a maximum area of 800 square feet. All right, so that's an important piece of information. Maximum area, 800 square feet. So again, that's not the area of the deck that they have. It's the maximum area that a deck can be according to the building code. All right, now, it says if the length and width are increased by the same number of feet, find the maximum number of whole feet each dimension can be increased by and not exceed. Exceed means go over. Be increased and not exceed the building code. All right, so again, let's look at this problem. The homeowner wants to not necessarily build a new deck, but he wants to make his current deck bigger. So his original deck is here, so I'm going to write original here. Original. And what is the area now? I don't even know if that's important, but you should be able to find the area. So to find the area, go get a calculator. The area is 22 times 14. That is 308 feet. Square feet. That's what his area is right now. The maximum that it can be is 800. And what he wants to increase is the length and the width. Now, very important. It says if the length and width are increased by the same number of feet. That's very important. So if the length and width are increased by the same number. So his new deck, I don't know what the dimensions are going to be, but obviously he wants to increase it by the same number. So what can we represent that same number by? If they're both going to be the same thing, but we're not sure what they are, we can just let a variable, such as x, be that. So we can say let x equal number of feet increase by, that's probably bad wording. You might be able to think of something better, but basically it's the number of feet that's going to be added on. Let's put it that way. All right, so our new dimensions are going to be 22 plus x and 14 plus x, because both the length and the width are going to be increased by the same number of feet. Okay. Now, I'm going to pause it for a second and think about that. All right, we have all this information. Now we need to look back at the problem and just think about what we need to use here. So, remember, the maximum area of this new deck is 800 square feet. So we have dimensions for his new deck. We have 14 plus x and 22 plus x, where x is the number of feet increased by, or number of feet that are going to be added to each dimension. And all right, so to find the area of his new deck, remember, area equals length times width. So the area of his new deck, so area of new deck is going to be represented, can be represented by x plus 22. I'm going to write x first. X plus 22 times x plus 14. Well, we have some restrictions here. Our restriction is the maximum area can be 800 square feet. So it has to be either 800 square feet, right? Because it says the maximum area. So it can be 800 square feet, or it can be less. So we're gonna use an inequality. So this area, because remember this represents the area, has to be less than or equal to 800. All right, so we have that. Now, at this point, you should be able to figure it out from here. And remember, when you're answering the question, it's going to be whole feet. So find the maximum number of whole feet. So think about that. Be careful. Also, you remember you can't have a negative. You can't have a negative length or width. So take that into account once you go through and solve this. But at this point, you should be able to finish it from here. So I'm going to let you guys work on that now. Last thing, when you get your answers, when you get your solution that you think is the right solution, remember the fact that your maximum area is 800 square feet. It cannot be above that. So when you're finding your number in whole feet, you need to consider that fact. Okay? That's the last thing. So go ahead and work on it.